he's quitting.
I want
He's quitting. No,
70s rule.
He's quitting.
I want
He's
70s
quitting.
rule.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Movie Mania Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Palmer, bringing you more cinema-related content from top 5 lists of classic movie reviews to our fan-favorite CINEMAWARS episodes. We have everything here on Helmer's Movie Mania Podcast. Now, today we have another episode of Cinema Wars. It's going to be another elimination segment because we really can't go back to the regular format when we have the chance to eliminate the other competitors. Now, before I get you to my 5 other competitors, let me just say, if you haven't already, please like the video, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon to get notified on all our latest cinema-related content. Now, like I said, let's get over to we have 5 individuals virtually sitting next to me right now.
How you doing? I'm Sean from Math Teacher Movies on Instagram, and looking to have a good time, discuss some film.
All right.
I'm Dev. This is the part I always mess up. I always fumble my words saying my own name. I'm Dev Stafford. I run the Instagram movie reviews account, Movie Reviews 7, and I'm also a filmmaker myself.
I'm Tristan. I run Movie Reviews 100 on Instagram, and I'm hoping to redeem myself from the trivia contest last time.
Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Banark. I'm also on Instagram at Ty Banark Reviews Movies, and I'm also a staff writer for CinemaSource.com. And Sean, by the way, I love that shirt.
All right, we'll get right back to Sean right away. But as always, I have to introduce the champion last. Hopefully that'll change after this episode. But he is the reigning, defending, undisputed, 2-time undefeated World CINEMAWARS champion, Big J from Unyolo.
Hi there. he didn't even start it, and you're already like saying I'm going to lose. Jesus. So I'm Big J from Unyolo, and we have Unyolo Movies blog, and you can follow us on Instagram.
So let's go over to the rules, shall we? Each individual round is going to be up to 5 minutes, so that doesn't mean it can't go over or under. It just means we're trying to aim for 5 minutes. At the end we're all gonna kind of state our claims on certain takes on the 5 prompts that we have. 1 prompt for each round, and then at the end of each round, then we will individually vote for an individual that we think should be eliminated based on their take on the prompt, as well as kind of their reaction to other takes said in the group. The person with the most votes will be eliminated as always. In the first round, if there's a tie, then I will decide the tie, or the person who didn't vote for the people in the tie will decide. And then in any other round, the tie will be broken by the person or people that are eliminated. All right, so let's get started on our first prompt, which is, who is the most overrated director working today? Dev, I can go to you first. What do you think?
All right, I had to think about this one for a while because the first names that came to mind were very respectable directors like Martin Scorsese and Denis Villeneuve, both of which have made amazing movies. I just think are a little overhyped. But somebody who is being put on the same level as them without the resume that has really bothered me is Jordan Peele. Don't get me wrong, Get Out and Us are both very good movies, but I have heard people saying he's the new Hitchcock. I've heard people saying he's already better than early Shyamalan. And I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's like, I need to see his consistency before I'm like, yes, he's an amazing director. Like,
I can go next to that. You kind of saved yourself with that Jordan Peele take, because that Scorsese Villeneuve double combo would have definitely had you out of here. The director I'm going to go with, though, is going to be Ben Affleck. Now, Ben Affleck, he's directed 3 films, one of them Best Picture winner, and there's a reason the guy hasn't been nominated for Best Director yet, the Oscars. He's just not very good in my eyes. Argo was good, but it was one of the more forgettable Best Picture winners of the decade. I didn't think it was that great. And then Gone Baby Gone is fine. I don't think it's near great. And then The Town, I was actually very disappointed by. I know a lot of people love that film. I didn't particularly like it. I thought there were a lot of crime thrillers that I thought were just better.
Did he do Live by Night, though?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, didn't Ben Affleck do Live by Night?
Yeah, he also did.
Live by Night. Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh.
I don't think anyone did, really, but I don't think it exists.
I didn't even know it existed until now, honestly. Sean, what do you think? What director do you have in mind?
Boy, I'm going back and forth between two of them, but I do want to say that when it comes to overrated, we have to watch out. Overrated does not mean bad. Overrated director means that this is someone who everyone thinks is a cinematic god, and maybe it just needs to be taken down a notch. And that's something I want to be clear when I'm about to say this name, because this guy has made some of my favorite movies, and I mean genuinely favorite movies. And this is Christopher Nolan. And my worry about this is Christopher Nolan has become what I call an appointment director.
Fire.
I know. Trust me. I had another name that was safer, and I'm going for the risk. Christopher Nolan has been one of, really has made some of my favorite movies, but he has become the appointment director. And the appointment director there's a lot of directors like this, where the film comes out and immediately can be no wrong, can do no wrong, absolutely flawless before it even comes out. The Dark Knight is one of my favorite movies. Some of his early work is absolutely phenomenal, but I start to realize that I worry about what his sort of vision is going to be. Does he want to be the action movie director? Does he want to be the auteur? And does he want to just move action movie directors into an auteur level? I love the guy, but I do worry about the Christ-like image and also him being the savior of movie theaters.
Well, what can we
You're
say?
lucky I'm not wearing my Nolan We Trust shirt, Sean. I will say that.
I was going to say, you're kind of rocking the Nolan look anyway with the you got the blonde hair. I was worried that you were actually you're just just shave the goatee and you're like, I'm Nolan in disguise.
So if I can go now, my first director that came to mind, not because I think a lot of us think he's any good, but most of the people that go to the cinemas thinks he's amazing, is Michael Bay. Michael Bay is just like a crap director, and a lot of people still see him as a god. But if I want to go with someone, I have to go with Wes Anderson. I think he does some amazing movies. He does some amazing movies, but then
Wow.
look, he makes some amazing movies, and then sometimes he just likes to overcomplicate stuff. And some of his movies, but like Sean said, we're going for overrated. I have to say that some of his movies, before he even comes out, there's people defending them, and they finish the sentence, I still didn't saw it, but I bet it's amazing. And that's what's overrated to me. And I think a lot of people that defend Wes Anderson didn't even watch most of his movies. They watched probably the most known ones, but not all of them.
I have no comment on Yolo's thoughts.
Yeah, that hurts me. That really hurts me.
I mean, this whole round, I've been kind of nervous to say this person, but I'm also following a certain strategy that Unyolo used last time, so I'm continuing on with that. I'm not going to say what that strategy was, but for me, my most overrated director is Spike Lee.
Oh,
I will admit.
You're gone, man. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
So just
Spike Lee.
I can't get on the hype train with him. His movies have either been a hit or a miss for me. Do the Right Thing and Black Klansman have been definite hits for me. Bamboozled and Malcolm X, total misses. There is no need for you to make a 3.5-hour movie about a civil rights leader who, in my opinion, was not as effective as Martin Luther King. And then Bamboozled, I can't stand watching anything involving blackface.
So I wasn't really sure what approach to take when it came to this question. So I have two. One that's overrated by fans, general audiences, and one that I think is a bit overrated by film community standards. So my first one, Zack Snyder. He's one that, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, there are people who think this guy is a god. And like the Snyder Cut that's coming up, people are like really hyping it up to levels that just don't make any sense whatsoever. The trailer looks terrible in my opinion, and
I agree.
I don't get it. But the one that might be a bit more of a hot take is Yorgos Lanthimos. Now, I think the guy's a really talented filmmaker, but he's great. But I've heard people say he's like this generation's Kubrick, and I don't think he's there yet. He's definitely got the foundation, and he's come out with some great films, The Favorite in particular, but I think he's still developing his style, and I don't think we should put him on that pedestal yet. He's definitely an up-and-comer that I'm looking forward to seeing what he comes out with next, and The Favorite was great, a great start, but I think he's still got some time before he reaches that level, personally.
Fair. So that's going to do it for this round. I will say, let me just say one thing before you get to voting. This is, I think, our 5th or 6th CINEMAWARS episode. I can't remember. And this is the best round we've ever had in terms of arguments and in terms of the tough tap that I have ahead of me and voting one of you out. All great arguments, guys. That was a great round.
Thanks.
Sorry to the person I'm voting out, though. Okay, God, this should be fun. Tyler?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with. Well, for the record, let me just say that this is a really good round, and I'm gonna go with Unyolo for this one.
Tristan?
I went with Unyolo for pretty much the same reason. I think that Wes Anderson's a phenomenal director.
Oh my God!
I don't really think Michael Bay's overrated, even by the fan standards. I think most people don't like him.
Yeah, that's fair. Dev?
All right, and Yolo, you saved yourself because as soon as you said Michael Bay, I started writing your name.
I completely agree, Dev.
I agree. Wes Anderson is a one-trick pony. He does that very well. Moonrise Kingdom is one of my favorite movies.
Wow.
But I had to go with Sean just because everybody made a good argument. Just Christopher Nolan actually does have the resume to back up why people treat him like a god.
Yeah, I for kind of the same reasons went with Sean because, like, he might have some movies that didn't hit that high, but I think also because we have a lot higher standards for him.
Very good point about Tenet.
I almost wrote Sean down, but I do understand where he's coming from. But I had to go with Tyler on this one. I couldn't agree with your Spike Lee point. I'm sorry. Sean?
So I went with Tristan because I've recently, and this is unfair because this just came out, but there was an article, I believe it was in I'm gonna get the magazine in Vanity Fair about Zack Snyder's fight with the Justice League situation and all that went on. And I started to really root for the guy. So for you, it's not your fault, Tristan. It's just poor timing that all of a sudden, like, I probably would have agreed with you in terms of Zack Snyder. But that article was just so good. I recommend it, like, just for anybody. It's just really fascinating of what went on. And, I don't think the Snyder Cut's going to be good, but I'm still very interested in seeing what a director does there. So, it was a quick Zack Snyder defense.
Can I just point out, I was 2 letters away from dethroning the champion.
So that means we have a tie between Unyolo and Sean. Raise your hands if you didn't vote for Unyolo or Sean.
Well, that was me.
Okay, so Sean, obviously you can't vote.
Oh no.
So that means it's up to me.
Okay, so like what I'm saying, Michael Bay has The Rock that is just amazing. I like the first Bad Boys. No, I like the Rock, but like the last Transformers is like phoning it in.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, but Nolan. But the thing here is, like, my answer, like I said, Michael Bay because of the fans, but my answer was Wes Anderson. Tenet would be like up there as one of the best of the year if it was anyone else.
That's a good point.
That's it. Like, it's
I'll give
great.
you a chance to defend yourself.
The Dark Knight Rises. But I mean, that might be the only one too. Besides, I didn't really like following that much. When we say the name Michael Bay in any sort of scenario, most movie fans, most people that know movies will say, like, they will say the Robot King. They will will not see him as overrated. They will see him as properly rated.
But that's why I said the fans. That's why I said the fans. This is the problem.
I don't even know if the fans are that into, like, I really don't know what, like, are there still like Transformers fans out there that are like into the Wahlberg years?
Six Underground. Six Underground was one of the most watched Netflix movies. Okay,
Okay.
Six Underground was
That movie
one
was
of the
kinda
most.
cool.
Come on,
This argument's never gonna end.
no, I'm not gonna say anything.
I know
Come,
who I'm gonna eliminate.
come on.
Unfortunately, I hope we can stay friends. I have to eliminate Sean due to his take on Zack Snyder, because I'm gonna agree with Tristan here and say that Zack Snyder is extremely, in my eyes, he's only made one good movie. So unfortunately, I'm sorry, Sean, it's your first time. Tristan knows all about how
I want to
tough
see the
it is.
reaction. I want to know the reaction if I did my safe answer. I thought I was gonna go with Ari Aster.
I would agree with that.
I
Why did you say that one? I would agree.
Nolan got like I don't know. Ari Aster, I feel like has made two pretty good movies that haven't really
Why did you
connected
say
that
that?
well, and he's got potential.
Whew. Okay, so Sean, any last words?
This is a bummer to first time get eliminated first, but I will say it's tough because I didn't even think of Wes Anderson, and congratulations, Yolo. I would have agreed with you on Wes Anderson. I went for the hot, spicy take, and I got kicked off for it. So,
And I just have,
I
I just have to say one thing. When I wrote my answers down, I never thought that Wes Anderson would be okay and Michael Bay would get so many defenders. I just have to say that. This is
not
a weird
defenders,
world.
not defenders.
This is a weird world. Like when I put Michael Bay, I thought, no, this is pretty obvious. No, let's pick and so many people like Michael Bay. No, like, okay, right.
All
Weird
right,
world
so
we're living in.
Sean is removed from the stream. Sean, he's still going to be here, so be watching. Let's go on to the next question. It's a bit more lighthearted. So what is the currently the best streaming service available? Unyolo, I'll go with you first.
Well, I have pretty much all of them. I have Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, HBO. I have all of them. And I would probably have said a couple of days ago, I would say Netflix. But now that we got, I don't know if it's the same in America, but in Europe, we got Star added to Disney Plus. So we got everything. So we got everything that was from Fox, everything that's R-rated. So we just like, so I would say at the moment, with the things that are going to come, with everything that Star brought for the price, for everything that you can do on Disney Plus, like the watch-alongs that you can do with people without having to use external things, everything, I would say Disney Plus at the moment.
Dev, what do you think?
All right, actually, I don't know anything about the additions to Disney Plus. Just want to throw that out there before I say, because I put Netflix down just because, one, to say about like Prime and Peacock and a few others, I hate when they show me movies I can't watch. Apple TV is one of the worst at that, where it's
I totally agree.
Yeah, I want to watch this movie. Why are you advertising it? If I click on it, it's like, all right, $15.
Yeah,
it's like,
I'm
paying for this.
I got 1 year free. I got 1 year free because I bought an Apple laptop. Never used it once because
I've used it occasionally for the same
I go
reason.
there and everything is to pay. I still didn't understand how the hell it works.
The only things I've watched on it are things I knew going into the app were on it, like Greyhound, On the Rocks. Like there's a couple things,
weird.
but it's like I saw a commercial saying it's on Apple TV. I'm like, oh, I have that. Other than that, I never browse in it.
Yeah.
But just to say more about Netflix as my choice, it dictates everything. While I don't think it has all the best options, HBO Max has amazing options. Everything Netflix puts out is trending. Cobra Kai existed for 2 seasons and nobody batted an eye until Netflix got it. Queen's Gambit, like all these things, Netflix just dominates the market. They produce their own things. They're still ahead of the curve. They were ahead of the curve on the streaming service. They're years in this while everyone's just starting it up now. Everyone else is McDonald's and they're Five Guys. What's something good for burgers? I don't know. Don't judge me on my food quality.
I don't know. I feel like that was the last straw. No, but I'm gonna go HBO Max on this one. And when HBO Max first came out, it was a disaster. The platform itself was very glitchy, and also the movie selection was very slim. There wasn't a lot of original content. But as time has gone along, number one, I think the actual look of the streaming service is very clean and it's very easy to manage around. Unlike, I was thinking about Prime, but Prime is there's so much content on there. There's just so much stuff. It's hard to navigate. And I didn't go with Netflix because their movie selection is very slim in my eyes. And I went with HBO Max because of Turner Classic Movies, which I use all the time. Their movie selection is absolutely huge. They also have Studio Ghibli. Like before HBO Max, it was $20. It wasn't on you couldn't buy it on Amazon Prime. You couldn't buy it really anywhere. Most of the movies were like $20. You would have to get maybe like the DVD or something. And then HBO Max gave the opportunity. And then I saw like 6 Miyazaki films when I first got HBO Max, like my first Miyazaki films. They have all the Warner Brothers content. Like I watched Harley Quinn on there, which was awesome. And then, of course, they have all the HBO stuff as well.
So I decided to go with something a little outside the box. I was going to go with Netflix, but instead I went with the Criterion Channel. So the reason I went with this is because it has, in terms of films that Netflix and Amazon and all of these other streaming services, their third-party content you can find other places. But with Criterion, they have like archived work and a bunch of films that you can't find anywhere else. And
except for HBO Max. Max.
That too. But Criterion has like a lot of really amazing content for people who are really into film and want to educate themselves. And it's not just it's not just experimental and foreign. You've got Hitchcock stuff on there. You've got a little bit of everything, and it allows you to kind of dip your toe into cinema and experience things that you wouldn't be able to see elsewhere.
So I agree with Alex on this one. I do like HBO Max, especially with having like all the bunch of Cartoon Network shows on there too. Like I've been watching a little bit of a regular show lately. It also has Comedy Central on there, so I've been watching Key and Peele, and it also has like the Turner Classic Movies. So like there's like a ton of my watch list for HBO Max. Because you're not is like this big because like there's so much content to give. And
it does making me jealous. I don't have HBO Max in Portugal. Only HBO. It's only normal HBO.
HBO Max has existed for such a short time, whereas Netflix we've all had for years. We've seen everything on Netflix. HBO Max is still new.
Currently.
Yeah, but Netflix seems to kind of like the safe, basic answer to me.
Exactly.
So,
and then a lot of the stuff that Netflix has is pure shit. Like a lot of the stuff they have is just garbage. Yeah. So they have a lot of good stuff, but they have a lot of bad stuff too. So it's kind of
that's kind of what I felt also. Netflix is kind of like they had a run like for years without anyone chasing them. Mm-hmm. So it's obvious they're gonna have more stuff. It's obvious they're gonna have, but like for example, if we look at things like Disney Plus and HBO Max, in like a very short amount of time, they got a lot of viewers, and like Netflix took a lot of years to do it, and I think that's kind of like why I didn't pick Netflix, because Netflix, everyone has it. There's 1 or 2 shows that, yes, they were really good. But then it's like those, what's the name of that movie that just came out? The Boys I loved before, number 15.
Well, those are awful.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's what they keep on hitting. Is like it's very algorithm, and I know Disney, we can talk about algorithm with Disney, but like all the stuff they've been announced on Star Wars, on Pixar's, on like they just like taking chances with some like these big things. And HBO Max, I can't talk about it because what we have is shitty HBO normal that only has like that the only thing they announced in Portugal that they're gonna make an exception is the Snyder Cut. That's the only thing they decided that like King Kong, no, nothing else, but the Snyder Cut, yes, we're gonna have it on normal HBO.
So another thing that I have an issue with both HBO Max and Disney Plus is when you're watching a TV show, like I like to just put on Friends when I'm going to bed, just something I don't care if I fall asleep to. If I want to choose a specific episode to watch, it's so difficult to go to the episode selection because every time I click on the title Friends, it'll just start playing off wherever I fell asleep.
I don't know. With Netflix, I've been watching Community recently on Netflix, and it does the same thing with Community.
Okay,
It's never done that with me for Community.
Can we point something out to kick someone? Friends is not on Netflix anymore, so that's not even a good point.
That should prove your point. I watch Friends all the time, and I'm still choosing Netflix.
Look, they did the research, and 33% of the people said they had Netflix because of Friends. So now that there's no Friends, what's the point?
Let's come here with some statistics.
Yeah,
what's the point?
A lot of Netflix's best third-party content got snatched up by HBO.
Yeah.
Or other.
Okay, but they still have Ozark. They have Orange is the New Black. They have Stranger Things. They've created enough of their own original things that are huge. I mean, Cobra Kai season 3 just came out this year. They're working on the Arrested Development. I know.
Yeah,
Arrested Development. I know they did season 4. Whatever your opinion of that is.
They had 10 years before everyone, and we still can we can still pick just a few out. That's my point.
All right, so that's gonna end it for this round. Another tough round, another good argument from everyone involved. So
I'm rolling on the second round too.
And we're 40 minutes in.
2 rounds and 40 minutes in. We are doing great.
Here all night.
I told my girlfriend I'm gonna do a live. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Don't worry. She's probably thinking what?
Poor Sean's probably watching the whole Lord of the Rings collection, waiting for it to finish.
I told her the same thing. I think it was the last one because it was on Valentine's Day, and I said, "Oh, it's Valentine's Day, but I'm gonna do a live about movies." He's like, "Are you joking?" 11:58 at night, and I'm doing a live about movies. She must be happy. Remember that when you're voting, who's sacrificing things here?
All right, so
he's trying to make himself the underdog here.
Meanwhile, Tristan's over there in the corner, not saying anything. All right, let's get to the voting stage. I went with Dev here. I was originally going with Tristan. I was originally going to go with him because I thought that a lot of the Criterion stuff is on HBO Max. I mean, there are some exceptions, but the majority of it, I canceled my Criterion account because of, and I know someone who did as well because of HBO Max. But Dev just kept digging at HBO Max, and I just couldn't take it anymore. He kept doing it. So, Unyolo?
Yeah, I went with Dev also. Because I thought it was kind of like picking the one that everyone has, but probably don't even. I lose more time on Netflix looking for something to watch than actually watching something.
I agree.
And that's why they created that button that just plays something random. And every time he plays something random, I go like, I'm not watching this because that's shit. So that just shows that most of it is crap. So I went with Dev.
All right. I think my arguing caused everyone to get distracted from the true argument at heart, which is why I voted Tristan, because Criterion is not diverse. If I'm a 10-year-old or a teenage girl, I'm not going to give a crap about any of it. Netflix has those options, and so does almost every other streaming service we talked about. So I just felt like that's the one that's more for just one demographic than a diverse group.
Tristan?
I went with Dev for the same reasons as Unyolo.
On the coffin. Tyler?
It's just no surprise.
And once again, who would believe that the guy that picked Netflix got lost?
That should have been the one. That's the one I did not even write a second option for. I thought, how can I go wrong with Netflix?
You know what? That's the blockbuster attitude. That's what they did. And look
Remember, I'm here at 7:00 at night. Remember who is sacrificing here.
Okay, so we have a final four here.
Okay. Needs a little stretch.
All right. So what's the worst Oscar-winning performance of your specific lifetime? So I can go first. So, I mean, there are a lot of good ones. It was hard to pick one, but several of mine. Number one, Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side. Sorry, I'm laughing because we kind of went on in a previous segment. We kind of went off on how stupid that movie is, and but that was an honorable mention. Another one, Laura Dern in Marriage Story. I thought her performance was overrated. I thought that she did the same thing in Big Little Lies. I didn't think she was okay, but that's not my main one. That was just my honorable mention. Catherine Zeta-Jones in Chicago is my number one. Chicago overall is just not very good, and her performance, it's really forgettable.
Okay, so I can go. So my honorable mention was also Sandra Bullock. I think like she doesn't really does any like I was really surprised how she even got nominated, and when she won was because I'm a bit older than all of you, I have a bit more of a choice. So my pick was going to be Gwyneth Paltrow in Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah, I would have picked that. Yeah,
it's just like that movie really like all the awards he got. All the awards he got, every single one, you like there's some years that you say, well, they were all crap, so that one had to win. Like, that was not the case on that year. And she, I might be a little biased because she kind of annoys me in real life, so it might be a bit, but I think that role really didn't do anything for her.
So my honorable mention was also Sandra Bullock. And
how did she got this Oscar?
I thought that would be the obvious choice, so I decided to be a little different. I went with a pretty recent one, Rami Malek in Bohemian Rhapsody. Okay, let me idea. Look, Rami is a great actor, amazing in Mr. Robot. But my problem here is that he took one of the most iconic singers, frontmen of all time, and did a caricature performance. He lip synced at everything instead of singing, which Taron Egerton did with Elton John the next year, and I thought he was much better. And Rami was also against.
Are we all writing?
Oh,
all right.
I'm writing down who's saying what. I'm writing down who's saying what.
Okay, Tristan, sorry. Keep going.
I think my biggest problem was that Rami was against Bradley Cooper in A Star Is Born, Christian Bale in Vice, which not a movie I love, but he's amazing in it. And then someone who didn't even get nominated, Ethan Hawke in First Reformed.
Okay, so I was also going to say Sandra Bullock, but I think she totally deserved it for Gatsby. So with that being said, my pick, and I hope this isn't a controversial one, but I'm going to go with Jennifer Connelly in A Beautiful Mind. So, like, and my thing behind it is that, like, I remember I've seen this movie, and personally, the whole movie itself, A Beautiful Mind, is like it's a little bit forgetful. I mean, I don't even remember much about Jennifer Connelly's performance in it either. I mean, other than she was Russell Crowe's wife.
All right, so that's going to do it for this round. Let's eliminate someone. Let's get this over with. Okay. Unyolo?
So, yeah, I went with Tristan. I'm sorry, there isn't really much I can say. I don't really agree with that choice.
Tristan?
I went with Alex. I actually think that Catherine Zeta-Jones is really good in that movie.
Okay, so I went with Tristan as well because I thought that Rami Malek's performance is really good. I thought Christian Bale was better, but
I also said Tristan.
So unfortunately, Tristan, your time has come to an end. Any last words?
Well, I'm glad I made it past the first round this time, so that's good. And I had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, no problem. So that means Tristan has been eliminated. So we have big three. Okay, we've all been in the big three before. All veterans of the big three.
Now I have two against me.
All right, so let's get to the next. So, what was the worst Best Picture winner of the 2000s? So, and some more honorable mentions. I can go first. Number one, my first honorable mention, obviously Crash. Now, I don't think Crash is a bad movie. I actually think it's a good movie. I don't think it's bad. That being said, Brokeback Mountain was it's one of the best films ever made. So, Crash just is a good movie. It's not Best Picture quality in any sense.
Mm-hmm.
The Hurt Locker, great movie, but not Best Picture quality in my eyes. The one I picked, I mentioned it before with Catherine Zeta-Jones. It's Chicago. Now, Chicago is just, I mean, there's nothing remotely Best Picture worthy about this film. I mean, it was like Hamilton. It was kind of like filming a play almost. Was done with the camera, wasn't very interesting. I didn't find any of the characters very interesting, none of the dialogue.
Okay, so I have a problem here because first I said Crash because I think it's like the one we most agree, especially against Brokeback Mountain, is just ridiculous. And I still think someone read the thing wrong. And my second pick is Chicago. So, so this is gonna be tough because, like, looking at the list, Chicago really stands out. They went for that Oscar like buzz with being a musical and doing that, and I just think. And the other one that I would point out, because I want to be fair, I want to say at least something different. I think the artist also is
that was 2010s.
For me, when you say 2000s, I include all of them. Oh, okay, so sorry. So it's only those. I thought it was 2000s was like all of them.
I'm gonna stick with A Beautiful Mind. I've only seen 5 of the Best Picture winners from the 2000s, and so and then at the bottom is A Beautiful Mind. So again, kind of a forgetful film. I haven't seen Chicago, so I can't share my input on your take on it. Or yours on Unyolo's, but again, I'm once again going with A Beautiful Mind.
All right, so that's gonna do it for this category. Now we're gonna have to vote for the person who we think should be eliminated. All right, I can go first here. So I went with Tyler here because I think Beautiful Mind is a great movie. I don't think it's amazing. But I thought that Chicago and Crash were just way worse. So sorry, Tyler.
I went with Unyolo just because he wasn't really prepared for this one.
Whoa!
Well, I mean, if he said something other than Chicago, like it would have been fine. But since he said the artist and got the decades wrong, I hate to be that guy, but.
No, I think I just thought he included all of the 2000s. So, but anyway, I picked Tyler because I don't know if it's just me, but I think
of course you did.
I think Beautiful Mind is a good movie. And
I was kind of pit against Brown, honestly.
What?
I mean, looking back on it now, I mean, both of you said Chicago, and I said one thing. I mean, I think I kind of put it together that okay, this is my round. But
why didn't you vote for yourself? Oh, I guess you're.
I didn't vote for myself this time. I didn't vote for myself.
But for what is it? Another round yet again where you make it.
This is like the third time I made it around this round and I got kicked out. So my day will come. I will persevere.
That's what you said in the trivia competition, but. Unfortunately, he's done. So that means, okay, so my rematch with Unyolo. Come on. Rematch.
Let's do it.
I can finally dethrone the champion. Whew. All right, big round. Okay. So I felt like this was a very fitting category. What is the best decade in all of film? Now, I can start off here.
Okay.
And originally, my runner-up was the 90s. I love the 90s. I think the 90s indie film movement carried the decade, really. I thought it was really with movies like Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and then, of course, you have 94, which is maybe the best year in all cinema, and Truman Show, Saving Private Ryan. There's probably so many others that I'm forgetting. But the one I'm picking is going to be the 1950s, and it's because it was just a perfect decade for film. Artistically and then stylistically, like the directors working in the 50s. I mean, you got Billy Wilder, you had Alfred Hitchcock in his prime, you had Elliot Kazan. Like the Best Picture winners on the Waterfront, Bridge on the River Kwai, Ben-Hur is really good. And then you had Bergman, so you had Wild Strawberries. And then you have Some Like It Hot, like sex comedies like Some Like It Hot, Pillow Talk, Douglas Sirk films like All That Heaven Allows. And then, like I said, Hitchcock, so Vertigo, North by Northwest are amazing. Night of the Hunter, which is like right behind me, right there. That film's amazing. Sunset Boulevard, another one that's like right. Oh shit, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Right here, but I'm gonna have to go 50s for this one.
Okay, so when I was thinking about this question, my thing is like, we want it or not, movies are art, but they also influence the world and they influence everyone that sees them. And like looking back, like the 70s is probably the answer that everyone would probably say, because there's movies like Taxi Driver, Star Wars, like they just started everything. But I would actually pick the 80s, because I think if we look at the 80s, the movies that are iconic today, and we'll talk about The Shining, Empire Strikes Back, Blade Runner, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters, E.T., like Raging Bull. There's so many movies that are the definition of like what we consider modern culture today and pop culture. And the best decade, it's probably the decade that made movies go on until today with the power that they have. Like the 50s have amazing movies, but if we're going to be honest, we probably can count by like with my fingers in my hands the number of movies that most people watch it from the 50s.
The 80s was more abundant in film, but there were also a lot of terrible movies from the 80s. A lot of cheesy movies like Clue.
Because they made more movies. They made more movies.
The Outsiders.
They made more movies. Come on, they made more movies in a month. They made more movies in a month that the 50s did in a year.
So, I mean, and there are just a ton of bad, like Ordinary People won Best Picture in 1980. Come on.
Even some of the directors we have today, like most got inspired with movies like Star Wars and stuff like that. Those are the movies that put people like E.T. E.T. like was number one. I don't know from how many weeks.
So that's going to end the round. Everybody who's been eliminated will now decide the results of the competitions.
I will confess, I heard that you had the 50s, but then I didn't hear what Yolo's was.
He said
also, you didn't saw the arguments. I got the 80s.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't know if that's good or not. I'm really scared.
You didn't saw the arguments.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring you all back in order of when you were eliminated. So Sean, I haven't seen you in a long time, man. How have you?
It's great.
Been doing back there?
You emphasize an order of eliminated, and then immediately I show up first. That's just great. Okay. Really just twisting the knife. So I am voting off YOLO. I am not a fan of the movies in the 80s. There are some standouts, mind you. There are some there's some standouts, but as a whole, I think the 50s are very solid, and the several directors not today of yesteryear are notable. I will say that just disappointed that none of you went for the 70s, which is the best decade in film.
But that was my argument. That's why you should have heard. I said the 70s is the obvious choice.
I'm listening to podcasts. I don't have time.
Come on, no way.
You're gonna vote me out and then expect me to listen to your argument. You're gonna vote me out and expect, I'm gonna hear about these hot takes on the 80s. Get out of here with that garbage.
Oh, come on.
Vote me out so I can have a fun hot take and having what's going on over.
Not fair. I said the 70s is the obvious choice, but I'll go with the 80s. So come on.
I'm really afraid to add this person back in the stream because he clearly hasn't been doing well since his elimination. But Dev, how have you been doing?
I'm doing well, and actually, I'm just gonna jump right into it. Sean clearly did not listen. He was clearly paying too much attention to the Lord of the Rings to hear the argument, because Helmer mentioned the 90s, and the 90s is what I wrote down if I had made it this far. But listening to Unyolo's argument, I was convinced that I was actually wrong in choosing the 90s. So I choose Helmer to get eliminated.
You see, Sean. You see.
See, I even
Guys, I got eliminated in the first round. Stop putting more crap on me, okay? Like, oh no, I'm gonna listen to your arguments. I'm listening to a podcast right now instead. All right, I'm enjoying myself. I get eliminated in the first round the first time I'm ever here, and you guys want to come at me that I didn't listen to your argument about how the 80s is the best. Like, for the
I'm
love of
listening to
God.
Trippy Red. I'm listening to Trippy Red
It's
right
all
now.
about the arguments, and you didn't listen to the arguments.
Okay, let's go to Tristan now.
All right.
Tristan.
So
God.
yeah, those were both really good arguments, and I'm going solely based on the argument because I think both decades are amazing. But I would have went with the 70s. But I think I'd give Alex the edge. So I'm voting for Unyolo.
Boom.
Everyone
Boom.
against
Come
me.
on.
I
Come
said
on,
the
one
70s.
more. One more.
I said the 70s.
You did not.
I know,
And
but
he says the 70s, and it
That was
goes
your
to
final
you.
answer.
I
This
know,
is
but I'm-
everyone against me. Not fair.
This
Yes,
is your
you're right.
Michael Bay and Wes Anderson kind of
Yeah.
crap that you're playing right now. Let's set the table for everybody. You know what my favorite decades were? 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. It was all of them. Those were all my favorite decades.
I said
the first round. You're coming at me with arguments. God.
no. I'm sorry, but that's not. He said the 70s was his pick, and I said that, and he said the
Yeah,
90s.
yeah, but you went with
come on.
the 80s.
Sean, you haven't been here. Unyolo is what I see as my nemesis, and I still voted for him to win this.
Exactly. They all bought you. You
on,
are
you're
a
right.
nice,
So it's
fair
the
guy.
70s in the first place.
Fair guy,
All right,
Dev.
so that means we have Tyler, who almost made it to the final round.
Oh
Sean
my!
just
You
left.
decided.
Look at Tyler's face. He's been waiting for this.
Oh, you have no idea.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to vote for Tyler,
We have a winner. It is going to be Unyolo.
but I'm gonna have to pick Tyler.
I cannot believe you've won 2 times in a row.
I'm gonna vote on YOLO. I also said on YOLO. I'm gonna go with on YOLO for this one.
Wes Anderson. I think he does some amazing
come
movies.
on.
He might
Wow. He wasn't really prepared for this one.
He wasn't really prepared for this one.
No idea. So I guess I'll be the one to do it. Put a fountain on the coffin, but I'm gonna dethrone the king myself and vote on YOLO.
not fair.
Now, let me also just say,
Not fair.
on YOLO, you said the 80s, Alex said the 50s. He is a 2000s kid and admitted that a decade in the golden age of Hollywood is the best decade in all of cinema. Let that sink in. This Alex Elmer, let me tell you something.
I'm so sorry. The fire alarm is going off.
It's
Yeah, we're getting
it's
too
the
heated up in
police.
here.
It's the police for you. It's the police.
Do the pot outside. Do the pot
There's
outside.
actually a fire alarm. Can you hear
See
that?
what happens when Unyolo doesn't win?
No, it's the
Stairway. Do not use elevators. Repeat. Do not.
Okay,
use
so
elevators.
I have won this episode of Cinema Wars. We have no time to get. I really have to go.
okay.
We have no time. There's
So
a
I
fire
won. I won. He's quitting.
I won
He's
Cinema
quitting.
Wars. So I'm just gonna make a quick announcement for everyone who doesn't know. Fire alarm went off in my building. I'm sweating really bad because, not because there's an actual fire, but because I had to run up and down 8 floors. But yes,
That wasn't a fire alarm. It was the police because you robbed me. that was the police siren because you robbed me blind. Before anything, I'll just say that it's 20 to 1 in the morning, but I'm going to see the list of Tyler of his top 100 and count the movies from the 50s and the 80s. And then we will see.
I'm the new champion. I won legitimately. I won with 3 votes. And I'm just really happy right now. You know, I finally won a Cinema Wars episode.
Okay, guys.
He's the host. It's rigged.
I'll have my eyes on you on YOLO next episode. I'll have my eyes on you. I'm watching you. I'm watching you.
All right, so that's where we're going to end it. I think Sean has not shown up yet. He has a trilogy to finish. I have won Cinema Wars. I'm a 1-time champion now. I have dethroned Unyolo. And that's really all that needs to be said. I mean, that's the big headline.
Even the police showed up. That's all I have to say.
All right, so thank you for watching. Ciao.